I am Brenda Jean Power, and this is Medicine Woman's Solution. Hello, hello. Look at you all. You tried to share, but you couldn't. Wonder why. I believe I'm on the right page where you should be able to share. Anyways, hello, and thank you so much for being here. And hopefully, none of you have that problem. I am doing good, and when you're not doing good, you can either focus on that and expand and get more of it, and ask the universe, "Oh, I feel like shit," and, but you don't realize you're saying, I believe in the shit. This is how I'm going to talk about the shit. I'm vibing with that shit, and I'm just going to keep putting it out and getting more of it. Well, I didn't sleep very well last night. I can talk about it, but I usually don't. Now, I don't know why. I just didn't sleep. So, when somebody asks me how I'm doing, and thank you, I'm doing great. Better and better. Because in this moment, I get a chance to change it, not agree with it, not focus on how my body's saying, "Oh, that was a shitty night," because it's my body that's complaining, not really my mind. I'm my mind. But when my body becomes a mind, the mind of the body will tell me. So if I drop a pencil, I'm like, "Oh my God, I got to pick it up." So this is what causes you to be a program. And so what happens is that when you're feeling the vibe of your own mind that's in the body, can you, and I repeat, can you be aware of the fact that that's not you? That is your mind that's in the body. It is the program. It is a pre-recorded thing that you had gone through. And before you had great abilities to discover that you didn't need to have to behave a certain way or show up a certain way, you could do something different. And believe it or not, you start paying attention now. If you want a spontaneous evolution, the ability to resolve, to evolve, to allow yourself to be more than just your aches and pains, because it is the environment that changes your cells. It's the environment that tells you if you're going to vibe in and out of existence of what. So my environment when I was growing up, it's family, right? Well, the first 7 years you download. And what happens is that you download everything that everybody thinks, does, and everything else. So what happens then is you go into another state of choosing or not choosing. Well, you watch, and I remember being little, and the vibe was as if you were wrong, then they would treat you like an idiot. So you would look and see, well, how do I behave? So if you didn't want to look like an idiot, then you would vibe to the next available correctness that whoever was in the room, no matter if it's a 12-year-old or a 20-year-old or a 100-year-old, you would vibe to what is correct and align with that person in that space. So we learn a lot of social skills. So the environment is what creates you to vibe. Now, if the environment is unhealthy, then you will either, it's my family, so you look to overcome by little nuances. When you're little, you just have to put up with, and you think that has to be your constant space. So when you're vibing, when you say you get bad vibes, what do you do? What do you do? When you get bad vibes, you got to decide with your ego or with your spirit mind. Because, oh my God, I got a bad vibe from that. But who's really interpreting when your body and you sense the bad vibe or a vibe? Who interprets that it's a bad or good or bad? And it's usually based on when you were little. So I was down in Victoria in Australia, and we were walking in the dark, heading home, and So we didn't know the area, except for I could feel, and there was this high fence, and I could feel these creepy, this is bad vibes, but I felt a vibe. Now, my file system says, beware, bad vibe. Nee, what could it be? And I began to walk, and I'm like, whoop, I'm in my ego mindset. I could totally go there and think it's an evil spirit. I could come up and think, oh, I have wrong intuition. I could just let my ego think it's right intuition and tell me bad shit. And so I said, no, I'm in charge. My authentic self's in charge. And I said, I'm not going to believe that vibe. So I went towards my heart. I connected with my higher self, and I says, is that really a bad vibe, or is it just interpreted that way? And all I could feel was that I calmed down. And they said, and I could just swear to God, I felt like giggling inside, like everything felt good. So then we get to where there's a gate, and it was a schoolyard, but it reminded you of a cemetery, but it wasn't, because my mind, my brain, with all of information in my filing cabinet, my brain hallucinates the next best guess if it doesn't fully understand what it is. So that's why I went, okay. And then it felt like a cemetery, and then my body was trying, my brain was filling in the blanks the best it could, but who's interpreting it? Well, I am. But if I'm asleep in my body and the mind and is the ego, and it's going to interpret it, it's going to base it on other people's things that people have taught me, fear, what I watched on TV, because I see with pictures. And again, I went towards my heart and I said, no, I want a heart-brain coherence. I don't need to have my fears. I don't have to have story time. I don't have my imagination. I don't have to do that. And so like I said, I felt this calmness and this giggle, and I said, okay, spirit, show me what it is. And as I walked by, I mean, I literally could have said, oh yeah, it was somebody from the past life, da, 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 but that's not connected. That's not, I mean, it's not, how do I stay in the alignment that I do? And as I go by, and there's at least, I see these eyes glowing. I'm like, what? And then my brain filled in, they're kangaroos. There was 10 kangaroos, and they were just sitting there in the schoolyard, which reminded me of a cemetery because of the gates and everything else. And I'm like, wow, my brain hallucinated in my vibing. My thought I believed in vibing was old programs from when I watched TV shows and fearful things. My mother loved horror movies. I know I had to hear them. I couldn't run because you lived in a tiny trailer. You had no choice. But my brain filled in this blank that it didn't need to fill in that fashion. And I didn't have to constantly, because it was a choice, that I could have filled it in with the truth, or I could have filled it in with the fear. And so I stayed as neutral as possible and let spirit guide me, and did my best to keep my heart and my mind in coherence. And I'm glad I did, because I could have totally not discovered those kangaroos and just ran home and had a fearful experience and told all my friends. And then we could have a hellacious false meaning, false reality, and false life. And it's not that I'm false. It's just that the information is false. So then we come across to people that were false, because we have our fears, we have our filters, and we have our programs. But you're here to learn how to do a spontaneous inner evolution. That's what I'm here for, is to help you wake up, not have to believe in this vibe, that vibe, or any other vibe. I want you to trust your higher sense and get connected with that part of yourself, so that you can begin to harmonize with your heart and your brain, or your heart and your brain. So you're not using wrong intuition, or because I got really good intuition, but when I was in just being a program. So you can convince yourself anything you want it to be. And I was starting to notice I could run with scissors, and that's an NWS gloss word. And that is, as I'm walking, I could feel the vibe, and I could feel the fear. And it's like, if you understand what flow stream of fear is, you can either choose that in the 11th hour, do I want to continue creating and agreeing with this, or can I connect to a higher vibe and switch timelines? What do you mean switch timelines? Well, at any given moment, you are in a multi-universe. You're in a multi-timelines. You are in different timelines. You can multi-universe means that you exist somewhere else in a different story, but it doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be just as similar and simple, but at the same time, timelines within is time. So the time within the space has to do with certain time. So what does that mean? Well, when you look at your clock and it says it's this time, but the timeline will tell you whether or not it is if you're in a fear, sadness, grief, anything negative. One fear, all the list of anything negative. And then that timeline will begin to create your world. But it needs the component of you and how you're vibing. Each little cell vibes. So if you vibe in and out of existence of, what do you mean in and out of existence? I feel real, but you're constantly changing. If you're negative, if you are anger, then that little cell is going to be programmed because the field in that cell says, I am anger. I am that, anger. I am. So therefore, the cells will start to vibe as anger. You will then produce an energy field beyond you that will start attracting in experiences about anger. Okay. Now, if you are in this energy field of anger, I'm a good person. I'm happy. What are you talking about? But because you're holding ill will, or you just had a bad experience, or you're constantly just reacting, hey, you having a good day? No. And then you run with scissors. Well, let me tell you all about this. And I'm going to conjure up. No, what? How would you run with scissors? Again, your brain only understands what you put into it. So if you watch shitty news, or you watch the world, or you watch movies, or read novels that are gripping, and then your world is going to be warped based on your beliefs. Your values of what you're meant to grow through is your container. So if you were, upset, what will happen is that in order to come align with certain time lines within your space, and I'm not talking about this space, I'm talking about space in general, because we move through space through time. Okay, anyway. What happens is that you're going to register, your brain's going to go, aha, and it's going to go down to the first three conscious centers or energy centers or levels of consciousness, or AKA chakras. But they consume, they do everything, and they collect. But so you're going to go, oh, hi, how you doing? Hi, how are you doing? Now, you're going to look at the gestures and you're like, okay, I'm vibing. That's cool, man. There's a moment or whatever. But if you go in and you're like, oh, yeah, hey, you notice that you're trying to figure out how to socially communicate. So you happen to notice that they wear glasses. Oh, gosh, yeah, those darn reading glasses. I got a funny story to tell you. Where did they get the story? Where did they get the story? They didn't just make it here. Unless they're using their imagination and just coming up with something they've never experienced. But usually if you experienced it, your cells are carrying the frequencies of motions along with the stories. And so you'll go down inside of your energy centers and you'll pull up all this information out of your filing cabinets. And then you'll tell a funny story so that you can see if you can relate. Now, if I didn't, want to interact with people, and I'm like, God, I'm going to, I just can't stand people today, blah, 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 blah. That energy field, you're going to go down and you're going to notice how your body has stored how you don't want to be around people. But the energy field's still going to reach out like a magnet. Now, how the energy of negative and positive is that a positive and negative will come together, and a positive will repel and all of that. But what happens with negative and positive and positive and positive, so you got contract, and then you got expand, and then you got pull together like a magnet, pull apart like a magnet. What happens is that you start knitting together just like your cells do, a particular storyline. You're the writer, you're the thinker, you're the feeler. You get to choose. Did you not know this? So every time you really are not in charge of your feelings or your emotions, and you're just walking around as a response or as a program, then your story is kind of written for you. But if you start to become in charge and say, I want to change those stories, I want to change not vibing that way, then I'm going to decide how to work with myself. Okay, so you can change reality. So you have a choice. Now, my environment, I've changed my environment. The environment, I made a home with my husband, and we make an awesome environment. Hardly am I ever stressed. We got things to do, but I don't have to see it as stressful. It is part of living. And I don't have to regret, be mad at, dread that, oh God, I got to get up today. Oh God, I got to take a shower. Oh God. That's, so I'm changing my environment in the inside of the emotions and things are going to vibrate and make a shitty day. And I'm going to prove that. But if I really look and understand that this environment is like 100% better than a negative mental attitude environment or gaslighting environment or everybody take environment, this environment is safe, it's loving, because I'm choosing to make it that. So I make it a space that gives me that safety, security, stability, sanity, serenity, and space, which is freedom. Now, what's beautiful about this is there's me, and then there's him. Now, what makes him and I different is because he has a whole different storyline. Now, this storyline is still a timeline, but his comes from, he was born in another country, and he grew up with his parents, and he's got so many siblings. He's had to go to school differently. I mean, every experience is there. So his belief systems are going to be different. We're going to find things in common. We're going to find things we're not in common. But what happens is that if we're not saying anything, our body, where we experience stuff that needs to be evolved, starts vibing, vibing you in and out of your experience. What do you mean vibing in and out? Yes, a cell actually vibes in and out. They're like, where did it go? There it is. Where did it go? There it is. So you vibe in and out of your experiences with emotions. And so let's say he saw something stressful in the news. Oh, it got his attention. He's going to start vibing a certain frequency of maybe less than love. Of, oh my gosh, that angered me. Can you believe that? Now, if I'm in the other room and I don't hear him and he's not saying it out loud, he's still going to be vibing that just as loud as if I was in the room. Now, if I'm not paying attention, then my body will start to mimic. Now, if my body is not in agreement with the energy, then I will start to come out of sync. And so then I'll have some bad vibes. When I wait a minute, hold on, what's going on? I can start to, I may be out of sync. Well, you may not even know it. All of a sudden you'll go in and he's in a bad mood, or you're in a bad mood and you don't even know it, and you start barking at each other and you're like, wait a minute, what happened? We were in sync. What happened? Where was our thoughts? Where was our beliefs? What experience were we creating? What re-experiences were coming to the surface? So me and my husband, as we started to decide to get married, I said, no, we have to really understand that the vows mean something, and that we are going to, if we're out of alignment, we're going to stop, out of sync, and go heal ourselves. It's not about taking the corners, doing that, it's taking responsibility of our inner world so we can create a better outer world. We said, hey, we're here to hug each other back together when we fall to pieces. But why do we have to keep falling to pieces? Now we haven't. We have grown so much from where we used to be with other people because we have chosen to run a sink and then heal that emotion that we're vibing to. We don't have to follow it and create more of it, but we would then use our tools to help us stop vibing that way. It isn't about suppressing. It's about sitting with yourself, feeling it to heal it out. You're sitting with yourself. The main tool I always talk about is that it's OMG. That'll be, or EFT, however you want to do it. But if you want, and you're hooked into and addicted to, so my cells will come in. Let's say when I grew up, I was the police. Oh, I see what you do wrong. I'm going to tattle. I see what you did wrong. I'm gonna. No, that's wrong. You can't put your toilet paper that way. Da, 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 da. Then my cells will actually look like a little police officer. And I'll start vibing into my identity, my part of my characteristic and signature. And I'm going to begin to show that. And then I'm addicted to, ooh, that feels good. Who else can I tattle? Who else can I point out the flaw? Oh, I have to micromanage. Ooh. But I'm waking up and I'm like, that's not a characteristic that is important to me. What are my values? What is important to me? And it isn't to run with my program and judge. No, it's not. And when I watch how things are, I can vibe in and out. So if I'm vibing with somebody and everything's good, and all of a sudden they start putting their filters in front of me and saying that I'm this type of person or that type of person, and I'm like, whoa, hold your horses there, because you have to remember, I'm me, not your filter. If you want to stay ahead in this game, you've got to wake up to your higher self, rise higher. Don't just stay in that lower, don't just stay a program. Now, there's nothing wrong with being in them, but at the same time, you have no control, and therefore you try to force control, and this is where it becomes a power play. We need to put spirit back into the matter. We need to create a unity. But in order to do that, we need you to understand where you are. Who are you? How are you vibing today? How do you want to vibe? Bruce Lipton one time said he was at work and he was like depressed and he would rather be at work or home or whatever. He's like, and then they had to have a party. I don't want to socialize. I don't want to do that. And so he was caught up into his story of like, oh my God, I have to do this thing tonight. And then all of a sudden it was like he could hear this voice. Well, what do you want to do instead? I want to go to the movies. Then give yourself permission to go to the movies. Yes. We forget that we have permission. We were so used to being taken care of as a child and following orders and doing this and that we forgot that we have permission. And it's okay. You don't have to worry about being condemned. If somebody don't like it, you don't have to take on their beliefs. You rise, you love. And if they don't understand, then they're going to have to zig while you zag. So you can do a lot of things. So when people say, and you see those memes, trust your vibe. If it's bad, it's coming from your soul. The soul wants to tell you something. Hey, you need a little bit more information, because that's not actually true. If you wanted to hear how your soul is connected to your spirit, then the soul's going to say, hey, I want you to tap, tap, tap. Hello, I want you to see that you're a program. How are you vibing? Because you said it was a bad vibe. Is it true? Is your brain filling in the next best guess because that's how the brain sees? Are you the program, and the body's in the mind, and the mind and the body says, hey, this is how we react? Or can you actually wake up and say, whoa, 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 why do I need to respond, follow, exacerbate these feelings? Why is it always negative? Why is it? There's no enemy. Once you begin to understand that there is no enemy, and you learn all of these things to make sure you heal out where your beliefs are in the enemy and your fear of the enemy, and you start to vibe with gratitude and love, and when you start to change that into love, you'll notice that the enemy starts to zig while you zag. You'll begin to notice that everybody has aches and pains, and we don't have to take offense and create an enemy. We can also just stand up, and yes, people are going to get pissed off because you're you, because they don't want you messing up their reality. Yes, you have to be brave. Now, if they don't like you, you didn't really create an enemy. Just take your power back. Love them. Show and respect. Yes. And then you go live. I thank you for the hearts and the loves and all of that. Appreciate it. So what happens in the cell is that when you take the string of proteins and amino acids and everything else, they eventually, instead of sitting there like your noodles, what makes us 3D is the fact of positive and negative, and positive, positive, negative, negative. Our bodies knit itself into a shape based on your beliefs and the vibes. Who's home? Who's in charge? Who's writing the story? We get so caught up into the feeling state and the fear state that we forget that we're here, that it's us. Your spirit. Bring your spirit back into your body. Bring spirit back into matter, because you matter. And when you start getting ahead of the programs and taking your energy out of those old programs, you get that energy back and you find out you really do matter. It isn't about, I need approval from you, I need approval from you. No. So as you keep putting new information in, you can keep asking a better question. Now it's on my phone. I got ahead and a better question. And it's like, why is my cells knitting itself together to show me that, like, the low numbers, or that, my cells are doing that? Why is that? And I can actually go back and I can see where it's be seen and not heard, or to make yourself. The biggest one was, don't make a spectacle of yourself. And it was also, don't do that. You're embarrassing me. Because I was always around people, I was to dim my light because they couldn't handle the attention they would get. Or I was told to dim my light so that they could take all the attention. My sister would set me up, tell me how much she loves me, and then as soon as she can, she would shame me and hurt me in front of people, and she would take the limelight. And I could see that, how it happened as an adult. And they like, what? Now, a habit is like walking. Who wants to get rid of the habit of walking? That's a very good habit to know how to do. But at the same time, the habit, they're habits, but the emotion that's in the habit, the thought processing of the beliefs that are in the habit, help create and knit together your 3D world. So the morphogenic field, understanding the cell is more than just the cell. It's the field that it creates, electromagnetically creates. So every thought is electrical, and every magnet or every emotion is magnetic. So when they start to weave together your 3D life, you have to understand we're in the 5D world. That means you get the power of evolution. I know that sounds very deep, but those that have the ears will hear. Your soul is listening. Your soul is hungry. So let's get cracking into these. How are you today? So I look into the room. Autumn, autumn, autumn. Hello, hello, hello. Look at all of you wonderful people. Linda, Robin. Wonderful. And I see people watching. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, look at the stars. Thank you, Autumn. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Robin. Yes, thank you. Your name all goes into a drawing. And so in what, 7, 8 days or whenever my next show is on the first show in July, we will have what? The drawings. So your name goes into a drawing for a chance to win 8 minutes on the air with me. And the drawing that's separate in the TikTok or together. I don't know. Spirit hasn't quite told me if they're separate or together. But I will be honoring people. I just got to figure out how to notify them when they want. Okay. Whew. Let's see what we have going on here. I'm going to get to the other screen so that I can join you, so I can see what's going on. And then I can see who's wrote me. And just so you know, I try to keep my personal life and my business life separate. Yes, I live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it, and dream it for me and my husband and my family. And, but at the same time, if you have a question, if you have anything, you can wait until the show comes on, or you can go ahead. And I have the cheapest one is 15 minutes for $30. 15 minutes. So you can do that. Now, if you message me, make sure it's not my personal. Go over to my Medicine Woman Solution fan page on Facebook and message me and say, yes, please, would love one, minute read, whatever you want to say, so I know. Now, if you have a very specific question, you have to make sure that you kind of, you're going to have to not just, because when I see it, I don't open it up. So make sure that that little thing that you send me says question, question, and then 1 minute. Say question in 1 minute. That way I know that you have a question and I can open it up, because I don't open it up. I don't have time to open it up. Tell me, sit there right now and paraphrase. How would you mean today's, I don't even know, my mind was blown. Well, just, learn that you can take notes. Well, shouldn't I just be listening and enjoying? Yes. But if you want to grow and create more of a spontaneous healing, then kind of put down words, cells, vibing. And if you can answer that, what is it? What was I talked about the cell? How did I talk about vibing? The brain, hallucination. What did I mean by that? Then you'll start to recall, and your brain is going to start loving you for it, because you're bringing in new information you hadn't had before. Okay? You haven't had before. Now, if you're new in the room, I will be glad to give you you don't get just 1 minute, you get 2 minutes. But if you're brought, you get 3. And then the person that brought you gets their name into the drawing. Okay? So I'm not sure what Autumn said. She said, I just did my first home therapy trigger session with the bandana. So that means that somebody else was a therapist, or are you in the healing field and you did that? Just curious. Yes. As you can see that it is my time and my day. We're live from Adelaide, Australia. So people know that there is a time difference. It seems very quiet today, and I'm not sure why. I've noticed that energy field. So I'm kind of coming out of that energy field that was very strong for a good 7 days or more. And it was so intense. Now, some people, it didn't bother. So it depends on where you are on your levels of growth and what you are asked to grow, into and out of. That was what came up. So I'm looking at the room and these rooms, and again, you are quiet little peepers, aren't you? All right. So I'll just start off. And Amy has the first one that's jumped on and says, yes, please. So Amy will get a 1 minute. And Amy, the word forlorn, they said they want you to look it up. And then dreaming. I said, what kind of dream? About a career. So you're forlorning about your career. And there's something about jealousy and sour graping. And then there is the effort that you have to put it out. And there's an old pattern of thoughts, whether they manifest itself or not, is there's some malevolent. You just got so sad. Oh, goodness. This is the stuff that you've suppressed and had ill will and grudges. And they're telling you to look for the temptation to want to control a situation the old way. Okay, they said that they just, in that. And I said, well, once she does that and she looks at all that, what would be the best tool to help her out of? And they said, in this case, there's a sluggish, interesting. You're going between lust and sluggish. Okay, whatever. R3D. They want you to do R3D because it is like you see it, you had to go through it, and then there's this overwhelm, but you have this overwhelm by the balls. So it's about controlling the situation, I think. And even though you felt like you got so sad, they still say R3D because there's a vivid recall that your body's doing and maybe not your mind. And you're like, but I know I'm going to be deprived. I don't want to be deprived. And it's like, I totally understand that, babe. Being rejected and deprived, that is what we don't want to do. So Miss April Lynn, diminishing yourself for money invalidates you. And you spin out and thinking that the worthy, unworthy issue that happens to pop up, and you're fighting yourself. You're fighting to be a good friend, but you have to give up on your dreams. And this is the only career you know. And it's this emotional instability that seems to pop up and you feel small. You're just repeating a very particular pattern. So why are you staying in a job that you feel is diminishing? And they said it's to heal out all of those feelings because it is learning to live through others, and there's just others. And they have their mask and their shit shows and their programs. Well, they want you to do L2D because you feel like you have no choice. You feel like it's about the money. So this job, don't make it about the money anymore. Change it. Autumn says, in healing, doing things that trigger me at home, and in a session I go through the memories to work through the triggers so I pass them. Good. Okay. Good. Now, here's the thing. When you allow yourself to do, certain healings, you're worth it. Just remember, keep chucking away and chunking away at it and changing that, and don't get mad if you're learning the steps of what works and doesn't work. As long as you're doing something every day to create a new world for yourself, a new personality, you're going to become happier and healthier. Because when you finally let go of the thing that causes that restriction, you're going to grow. You're just going to grow. And you'll be happier you did. Okay, so now Lena. Oops, gotta get to the right screen. All right, Miss Lena. Okay, I don't want to be accused for singing, but Gumdrops and Roses. It's a few of my favorite things. And it feels like you have very few things to hold on to. So the coping tools, it's like I have to look at these few things that help me feel better. But there's a phobia of that somebody's going to just come along and say, I got to have those things. And the question is, why do you have to diminish yourself? Why do you have to sit in pending doom? And they said it's because of the erratic behavior and the guilt tripping that you're constantly getting from people. And your soul says, okay, it's time to understand you're an object. No matter how much they sweet talk you to get what they want or be mad because they can't get what they want, it's time for you to stop seeing that you're an object. And begin to notice that, and then start doing L3D, okay? Miss Nancy Burke. All right, Miss Nancy, how you doing? All right, Nancy, there's something about deserted. Did you feel deserted? There's a part of you that feels like maybe you've deserted somebody, and it sits inside your neck around right at C7, I feel like. And I feel like at, what are you trying to say? The vibration of 1. I feel like when you were very young, one of the things is about 2 years old, it had to do with you felt it before, but didn't take action until you got a little older. And this invading energy that comes in, you want to desert yourself when people invade your energy. And I said, how do they invade your energy? Well, they can just act like, I don't believe that just happened. Oh my God. And when people start to act like that, there's, they begin to feel worthless. And that energy started to be in this space, and you were vibing and understood and not understood at the same time. But what happened is you felt very depleted. So let's say your mother has you on her hip and she's going through this, oh my God, I can't believe this, and just energy all over. There's a part of you that believes that you can't be. I can't be Nancy. I can't be this human. I can't be. Because this energy says no. So this is an old part that your child maybe misunderstood, but you kept hearing the sour graping over time. And so you just made sure that you started to feel that you weren't be. I can't be. I can't be present. I can't be me. I can't be Nancy. So what they want you to do is notice that the sour graping triggers you. So L3S, Nancy. Okay. Listen to when people say it. Listen when you say it, because your body goes, and so then you start making yourself disappear. Okay. Crystal with a K. Crystal with a K. The audience is very quiet today. Hello, TP. How are you? Oh, thank you, Linda Love. I appreciate the stars. Your name goes into a drawing. Crystal with a K. I'm looking at a phobia. Is this yours? No. Okay, so let's say you see somebody that's scared. And okay, so I feel like this person, and it could be the little, has not yours, but you have a little one, I think. There's something to do with how will they heal it? How will they resolve it? How will they cope with it? How do they? And when it comes to kids, the best thing to do is if you can get them to learn to do this to themselves. And if they can't, because they're upset, scared, or fear, you can just sit there and rock them and hold their forehead, and you can talk to them about the situation. So they bring it up. And because you're doing this and you're the mother, you have that right to help your child process. And you teach them how to do it. The kid's going to turn around and just say, when they see you stressed, they're smart, because number one, the mirror neuron says, I have to download the first 7 years of my life. So if I see you stressed, a lot of times the kids will just walk up and put their hand on your forehead because they know it works. And monkey see, monkey do. And children love to save their parents. So when a child comes up and touches you on the forehead, a lot of times because they want to heal you. Oh my God, mom's. And you're like, what do you mean? I'm not in a shit show. I'm not stressed. But you're going, my nerves. Child can see that. So I feel like, I don't even know what that reading was about. But it's a reading anyway. Okay. Alicia Garcia. Alrighty, Miss Alicia. Something is unreceived. Something there's no empathy. They go no. Something, no, was unreceived. Yours, theirs. Oh, God, now they just jumped to irrational, and then they said timid and shy. And I'm like, where the hell are you going with this? So I'm a little confused. They said one of your fears that you have is that you feel crushed. Okay, they're going back and going. And I said, are you talking about a very specific age? About 6 years old. I don't want disapproval. I don't want disapproval. And they said it's coming to the surface, and it's time to realize that when you recognize the feeling, you may call it something else. What else do you call it when you feel it? I feel like I'm wiped out. You have to start recognizing when it's a particular emotion other than what we normally call it, because some people say, oh, I'm just angry, when in fact it's something completely different. But you're building false realities, and they said based on this very sluggish memory of being disapproved of. And I said, well, how can you? They said they first want you to become aware that you don't have to. So when you start to feel this, just say, stop. Is this about disapproval? And once you start to get there, they'll say, okay, then you can do L1D because you don't want your heart crushed. Okay. Hello, Amanda. Nathy, how are you? Okay, so I'm going to go on to Miss Patricia, Miss Patty, Miss Patricia Henson. Down. Something that's very vivid to you. You feel under. You do not feel safe. And you're thinking. So they're showing me a very specific pattern, very specific pattern, very specific pattern. And there's a part of you that feels like, I don't have to give empathy. You don't give me any empathy. You are in a program, and the program is full of pain. And there's a yearning. So you got to decide if you want this timeline to keep showing up this way. Your cells are saying you got to keep seeing this. And I said, what can we do so that, is there a particular outcome that she wants? Yes. And when you want a particular outcome, this stuff ain't going to work, because your will is your will. But they said that you can create a disrupt if you look at how you disbelief that things are not going your way. I can't believe they're not doing anything, or I can't believe this. So looking at how the universe is showing you a pattern of how something is not resolved. And then you're rejecting the answer that you keep getting. I don't know what this is about. But it's you choosing to say, I'm willing myself to be done with it and take my power off it and go home, instead of have a particular outcome and say, I got to have it this way, or I see it this way. I am right. I'm not crazy. When we do that, our energy drops drastically. So you feel very wiped out and very under pressured. But I'm hesitant to give you a point because I don't know if, but I'll give it to you anyway. L2S. That's for Miss Patty. All righty, we have demand, mad. Now on TikTok, here we go. We're looking at something unreceived, and we're looking at something about a career. They're saying choice. And then they said there are certain realities about how your heart was crushed. And so now we're going into a certain remorse pattern. And some days that you feel like self-pity and you don't even know you're doing it. And I feel like this is kind of old. and you just keep that file around and open, and it's part of your hidden story. And it just is something, because they're showing time has gone by, but you're addicted to how bitter, how disappointed and angry that just keeps getting carried over. They said that your body, your triple warmer makes you feel very unsecure, and it shows up in the physical form of affecting the way that your kidneys may operate, or how your large intestine may work. Not saying you have any diseases. I didn't say that. Just so you know, energy is that you're like, oh, I got gas. Oh, I got this. Or it could show up other. So if you wanted to heal some of this out, they said the first thing is just start to notice the memory, that it just keeps coming up. It's still there, and it's like a haunting. You can't stop thinking about it. So R3D, right wrist, third position D. Yeah. We have cancer. Tired, hurting. Yes, mother. Okay. Now understand, can you tell me what kind of cancer you have? Just communicate with me for a few minutes, and if you don't mind playing, which means communicating, and let's see what Spirit has to say. So Spirit is stopping for just a moment and wanting to communicate. So that's what we'll do. And so because we don't know how long the leg is. So the first question is, what kind of cancer do you have? And my thing is taking its lovely time to open. Gotcha. There we go. Okay, it's spread to your brain, but where did it begin? Let's find out where it began. Okay. Now, Dr. Hammer talks about a very specific thing. He's a German doctor that has really studied intensively, and I think it's called German medicine. No, that's not it. New medicine. No, shoot. I just remember his name's Dr. Hammer. Your ovaries. Okay. And he says experiences in life will leave a mark on the brain, and the brain then communicates with the rest of the body. Okay. And so they're telling me that let's find out a little bit more about it. So if I said, even though it spread to the brain, do you want this cancer? And I hear no. I said, does the body, the mind and the body, do you know you're creating cancer? And it is about communication. Okay, so it's about communication, and there's fear. And they said that there's something to do with, so let's imagine you're in your house and you're in your home, and they said that there's confusion energy there, and there is taken for granted, and I really don't want to. So I feel like, okay, so let me ask you this. Did by chance in your home you were asked to do something you didn't want to do and you're tired of doing it? Did you have to live through somebody else's life? But that, yeah, I read what you sent, Amy, but that's not where I'm going. So the question is, did the cancer come before or after the incident with your legs? I'm going to let you tell me that instead of me asking Spirit, because I just need to know. So most of the time, see, I'm looking at a shutting down process after. Okay. I'm looking at a shutting down process, and I feel like the environment will determine what's going on in your body. And the environment to which you got into has affected you, meaning you're not really happy with your environment, not the physical form, because I asked if it was the physical body that bothers you, and you're like, no, it's the conditioning process. It's the same shit story day in and day out with other people. So they're talking about the communication process of another person. And the things that you want, you can't get. So that I feel like you're being reminded of because of whatever choice. So I don't know if you're being taken care of. You said something about your mother. I don't know if you, I feel like other people's energies are vibing you. You understand? And there's a part of you that has rejected self. And when you're rejecting yourself, that's what's called she rejection. So it's really more determined, because if you're female and you're rejecting because you're female, or because you were made to feel like shit because you are female or whatever, then you may have that. But yeah, see, that's what I'm feeling. And you feel like you can't get out of that environment. So what happens is day in and day out, because there is no joy and happiness in that environment. Not trying to say there isn't. I don't see it. The amount of focus of the energy and the amount of cloud that's in the space that they're showing me has everything to do with, it's always this fear. And there's not really any good, happy talks. So how does one begin to get over an issue when they can't change their environment? And that is, you have to do the inner environment. And that is, you will secretly, you think about her all the time. Okay, is she alive or dead? Is she with you or not? Let me ask you that. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've, well, I don't want to say that. I just have tons of people that run through this stage of energy. So everything can play a part. Now, with this mother, okay, she's alive. Okay. Now, notice that you think about her all the time. So is she making it about her? Is she mad? Is she upset? What's going on? I mean, there's more to the story. But the energy in that space is not supporting you to thrive, because your body's reaction is the body's reaction, I just want to say, is that I can't behave the way I want. And it is day in and day out, and it's affecting you. Now, you can have spontaneous remissions. You can go in, and there's a lot of people in this, a lot of examples. I just can't think of any of where you could look it up and find the name. But what happens is that you have to change this. No matter what shit show you have, you change this. You want her to love you. Okay, see, that's the thing. Every time you're in the environment, she gives you clues and things like this. This is, she doesn't. Your body needs to have a positive environment. Now, notice that the yearn or the want her to love you. All I can tell you is Byron Katie has wrote this book, Loving What Is. And when she finally came up and woke up, there was a part of her that was like, people don't have to love you. You want them to love you because they're so-and-so. But at the same time, you're more than them. You are more than that. And so we keep playing the story in our head. And so I'll say, you have this pain that I want her to love me. And what it is actually a condition in your cell, and it's arrested development that you had picked up when you were about 4 years old. And the communication process has been tainted ever since. So even if she did tempted to give you love, you're not going to be able to see it, because you're going, I just want her to love me. You've been doing this since 4 years old, from what I can feel. You have pictures. You definitely have the communication. You guys' communications suck from what I can see. So again, you need to change that. And one way they can do it is to help you take care and understand how your heart is crushed. Do you have a particular outcome? You're just conditioned. So just start noticing how your heart is crushed. Heart is crushed. Heart is crushed. And I want you to take and hold L1D. And notice how you're focused on collecting all the proofs, and that's what you're going to do. My heart is crushed. I can't be confident because my heart is crushed. And notice and stare down, I don't have her approval. The question then becomes that pain that I don't have it. Do you really need it? She doesn't love me. Why is it important that you have her love you? Because there's an importance here. Yes, that is one of the books. There's another book she has as well. But anyways, there you go. And do your best. Do your best. You're worth growing and surviving. You're worth it. Okay. So I'll take another person from DT and I'll go back over to the next one, which should be Linda. All right, so here, oops, I gotta go back up. And I thought I saw Katie. Okay. All right, Katie. I'm looking at how your body is doing a response. And I'm like, what do you mean response? And the response has to do with thinking. And there's something to do with thinking that has to do with interrupt. And then it has to do with how there's a want and a dream. And do you talk it out loud? And when you start to share who you are, do you feel that people don't come in alignment with that? And so some way you feel like you want to take offense to who or what you want to be? There's something there because, and I don't know if it's fresh, but I looked and I can see it. It's been with you since you were 21. And you're just playing out with reactions ever since. So were you ever feeling very insecure of what your dreams of what you wanted? Because they're saying that you felt small and you took that as the answer, and then you gave up on the self-efficacy to get what you want. Oh, flip it up. Okay. All right. So if that's, just talk to me because the delay is really bad there. And then, yeah, definitely in a few ways. Okay, so how do we want to help you to look at that and notice that your cells are still reproducing all of this? And I want you to really take in the words I said, because what happens is you change who you are. So I want you to do R3S, right wrist, third position, nice and soft. And what I want you to do is I want you to sit there because, why did I do that? I want you to feel all the pain. And when you're done, there's a part of you that's going to get to a stage. And hopefully if you stay long enough, you'll see that you're going to go into a space where, wait a minute. So my knee-jerk reaction at that moment has been controlling the rest of my life because I was hurt and I threw away. It's like I always tell about this story of this man, and I can't remember his name, but he told these stories. Like, so here it is. You take the clay and you make a horse. Somebody comes along, insults at what you did. It hurt so deep, you crush it up and threw it away and never pick that up again, even though that part of your destiny is to do or be what it is you want to be. Time to heal the pain so that your cells can stop creating that you have to have people to show up this way or that you have to keep recreating that pain. Okay? All right, so I'm going to just go over here to Linda, and then if Claudia, if you're here, then you'll be next. So give me a second. And I will go, and after that, then Nikki has, anyways, Linda Love first. Miss Linda Love. I keep hearing a clock. I just hear tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. And I said, wait a minute, is that a clock or is that tick tock? So no, it's not a clock. Even though I heard it, it's not about time. It's about TikTok. So have you started doing things on TikTok? Just so you know. Then I said, well, okay. And they said, I feel depleted when I feel like I know I'm supposed to take that next step for myself and put myself out there. Okay, so let's look at those cells. The cells are saying you don't really feel secure and that you feel like criticism is going to come your way and that people are going to come in and they hold grudges against you. Those three things is what your 5-year-old says is going to happen. And you then become very over concerned with yourself and they want you to hold R2D, right wrist, second position D. Okay, really look at those words, amp and ramp, remember to measure. We're going to go back over to Claudia. I'm waiting for it to pop up, but it didn't show it. Okay, so what would happen? What would happen between Tanner and I? Now that I'm going to ask Spirit. So how we look at this, because you're new, Amy, moderator, tell me what's going on. So 2 or 3. So Claudia, when I'm looking at this, I'm asking, because what happens is what will happen between you and another person will be dictated on by your cells, by your body. And I said, so what will be the thing that will be happening between them? And there will be love, and that there could be some taking, some blaming in the relationship. There's be probably some criticism and not knowing how to do it. And then you'll feel vulnerable at times. And then you'll be like, oh, I want to keep him around the home. I don't want to let him go. And so then there might be a little obsessing. And they said that your soul wants you to learn how to self-regulate. The aggression of the broadcast. So is that coming from her? So it is the way communication processes would be between a relationships and look at your past and how that looks. I said, there's a certain amount of, I don't feel safe. I don't feel that safety thing. And because you wouldn't have that safety thing, I feel like then you're going to go into suspicion of, oh, is he cheating on me? Does he love me? And even though he may be loving you, you're not going to be able to see that because it's a filter. So you're going to have to look towards your past and see if there's tumultuous relationships when you were growing up. So there's a part of you that will have this habitual fear that will start to really affect, and you just start feeling vulnerable. So I'm watching this particular pattern that you have a chance to resolve out, but there'll be a lot of silent brooding. Your feelings are going to get hurt because you don't want to lose him. You don't say nothing, and then yet you want to say something and you do it. So there's a lot of sitting back thinking too much and feeling the pain. And there's feeling that you're being invalidated as you expand who you are. And then you'll feel that if I do that, I feel deprived. And then there is, oh, I don't want to be taken for granted like my mother was or something. I can see that. And there's always this yearning factor. That's what I see. Okay, that's what I see. All right, so now I'm going to go over because I have to click that one. And then I'm going to find my slip because Nikki has paid and I have to go. She said she'd come on Facebook, if that is correct. Go over to, where is she? Oh, there she is. Very good, very good. Here we go. I think I saw that correctly, didn't I? Yes. I'll come on Facebook. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay. Now on TikTok, I'm also running YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So they have a new screen up, which you can't see. So I'm bringing on a guest right now. Somebody has paid $24 to come on and have get whatever it is they want me to do. We'll find out. Hi, dear.
Hi, Brenda. How are you?
Good, good, good. Okay, I got to turn that up a little bit. Never know about my volume because I shut it off sometimes at night because people call and I don't shut my computer down. And I forget to turn it back up. All right. How can I help, hon?
Okay, I have a specific tonight. So I'm starting to see my persona, the child who wants to avenge her abusive childhood.
Gotcha. Okay.
So she doesn't come in. She came in action form last week, and she does it in a very calculated, humorous way.
Oh, okay.
Very
That's safe.
calculated, and it's a full on attack. Okay.
Now that's towards others or for towards yourself?
It would be, well, what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing it's toward anyone who she feels is abusive toward innocent people.
Okay. So she's seen how others are, and so that's how she's going to fix it. So I'm just going to put others. So the very first thing that pops up is that towards yourself, you don't want to be taken for granted. And so therefore yourself says, my inner world is showing me where other people are being taken for granted. And therefore that is the one thing I hear you want to take care of. Now, I'm looking a little bit further, and what I'm hearing is there's something about an inappropriate in your heart factor. It says inappropriate creativity. And what they mean is that your 5-year-old self said, I'm tired of having this play out this way. Somebody's got to say something. So at 5 years old, you were into it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So now I'm looking at this, and they said really what gets you to go the most is when somebody gets treated like an object.
Yes.
And notice wow, her determination is that she's the biggest thing is that she has that particular outcome, and she's not going to change her will. No one's going to change her will. I have this outcome. I have a beef. I've got to solve it by doing this. And I'm asking this 5-year-old, are you still wanting to, is that your particular outcome? Yes, towards others. They disapprove of me. I'm going to disapprove of them. Now it's tit for tat. She's showing me tit for tat.
Yeah. Very calculated too, Brenda. She waits.
Okay. And then, so they said that is the strong condition. And I said, okay, so if that, how many bells are ringing to cause that? One. Can you tell me that? Abuse. And so the bell is abuse. I said, kind of give me an idea. It's an emotional abuse the most. And, but you were also raised or geared towards, you have to, I feel like you didn't get to be a child, so you had to be the adult. So you were forced into a position where you would rather have been an introvert, but you were not allowed to be an introvert, so that you were forced to be an extrovert. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, because of that, you were emotionally abused to be forced to become an extrovert, and you were abused in that fashion because of their fears. And I feel like, so I'm seeing your cells have this thing called an addiction. And it says the addiction is this particular personality is that I have to be lofty. Now, the little girl still says that I want my particular outcome and you can't do anything about it, bitch. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But
we need to.
But I asked Spirit, how can we help? And that is you can go in and say how you define lofty. So you're going to look at lofty, how you do it, how other people do it. What does it feel like to receive it? What would it feel like to give it? And there is in giving it there's a sweetness. There's that tastes good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she said they were like that to me, so now I'm going to do it back.
Exactly. But how the adult you is going to go, I really have to look at how that tastes good. And how then they said you can start doing L1S, because this is how you had to learn to defend yourself. Okay. And that's the only way you know how to be a friend to you. You know, like how you wish friends would stand up for you and all this other stuff. No, you were the friend that always stood up for everybody. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, again, even though she was geared to be that as a child, she's now like this as you are her, but you're also breaking this.
She doesn't want me to let go. She doesn't want me to forgive my childhood, so that's why she's coming in now.
Right. And the thing is that she doesn't, okay, here's the thing. She wants power. She wants this revenge. She wants this thing. But what she doesn't want is that she doesn't want past to repeat itself. And I said, what really don't you want repeated that you have to use this as your coping tool? I don't want to be taken for granted. So if I were to look at how you define lofty, and you look at the word taken for granted, study that, then you would also do L1D. Oh, really? Hold on. So to being taken for granted is not even in the appropriate, because you're a tribal healer, not in the appropriate meridian. It's actually, so you're going to do I don't want to be taken for granted. You're going to do L1S.
Okay.
Okay. And this is about having to give up or changing to doing something. Then you got to do L1D because you're like, that's my coping tool. And then I said, then where? And they said, okay, good. Now you can go to L2D because I have to exert my power because there is no way I'm going to be taken for granted. Now, this is where she's going to go, but this is where you also can sneak in. How do you know what taken for granted means? But don't do that until you do the L1S first and the L1D, okay? Because you have to be the adult and help her. Now, she says, she's talking about ho-hum and being bored and disconnected. She says that actually when she feels like she's relieved and she doesn't have stress. So if you can begin to feel when you're ho-hummed or bored or whatever, sneak in there and start healing then because her guard's down.
Okay.
I can't believe we're getting this information. But she'll be weaponless because she's in between thinking, and she's showing me herself.
You know what she does? This is what she does. She makes me sort of get distracted, and then I'll go into a distraction, like the kinesthetic distraction sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I'm not myself fully, she'll come in, like when I had the situation with my mom, being at my mom's house and there was marijuana or whatever, my mom was smoking, my body felt kinesthetically like I was, high. Okay.
Yeah.
Then she came in, swooped in, saw her opportunity to put her mom in a petrified state, and she did.
Yeah. Exactly.
Said, this is what she did. This is what she did to me.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's going to be such an automatic response because she didn't get, at the time, she had no control over. So what caused her, your little, to begin to do that? Because that's 5 is like where you really got it. But what really made it a turnaround to feel like, okay, you've trained me to be this pit bull. And now at age 12, I'm going to use it on you. And she said, that one says, look, I have a particular outcome. And I'm going to hold all this resentment because you taught me to have this bitterness and resentment to everybody. And that you toughened me up so that nobody would do this to me. And this is where love was a weapon. You knew that. Right. So this is where the ho-hum. Okay, just before you go, I got to tell you this. The ho-hum is this. The ho-hum is this transitional state that where you are either going to design the creativity with spirit or with your ego. So when a child is sitting there going, oh my God, I'm so bored, and they can't think of anything. And then you go up to them and you say, oh, there's some dishes that need to be done. Oh, I got this to do. I got that to do. And they get really creative. But it's in that state. And I feel like that is what she's told me when she was little. You would be like in a meditative state doing something at 5, you'd be in theta. But at the same time, there was these peak points. If you understand in hypnotherapy, there's peak points when you would get your client to really to really get, and you'll get the most out of them.
Yeah.
That's when your mother knew exactly, like with expression on your face, doing something, and that's when she would use love as a weapon.
And you know what? And she, by the time I was 5, I knew how to do it. My mom had a black eye from her boyfriend, and she was wearing sunglasses. And I watched her and I observed, and she was chatting with the landlord. And I waited until I noticed he was sort of noticing, like, why is she wearing sunglasses? And I shouted out, "My mom has a black eye."
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have fun with this persona healing. And just remember, you're going to have a brand new reality after you start helping her. And in a way, I can feel her. She wouldn't have told me this last bit if she wasn't really tired of holding that. And so she,
Yeah, she showed me a picture earlier, so I knew. I said, okay. But she's in a very pissed state.
Oh, yeah. She says, I'm not going to be that way until you, the savior of yourself, come in and do it. But yeah.
All right.
Happy healing, my dear. I love the fact you're in a state where you can understand what I said.
Yeah.
All right, hon. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
So the more when people really get into doing this healing, the spontaneous healing, all of these healings, all these different things, you'll see the stages of where you're at. And that was a really good one. We got to hear her from her little. And her little was determined at the same time. I know that she has the capability to heal herself and help her little to have its voice heard and to give it space to grow as well. All right, so I'm going to get back into the if you're new, let me know. You can get 2 minutes unless you were brought by somebody. I'm going to go back over to the 1 minute. And if you want to do a reading that, like I just did, you didn't have to have it on audio or on video. You can just have audio. And you just PayPal me right there. And then you send me $24 and we can do it in the room where there is no voice, but there will be a delay. You don't have to come on at all. Heather, thank you very much. All right, so I will do Autumn and then Heather. Okay, so Autumn, Miss Autumn. What I'm seeing, the word jumped out as accused. So the environment feels accusing. Okay, so this is where you're going to go inside and say, okay, even when your family's not around, your body's used to being accused of something. So this is where you want to go deeper. You want to be able to... So as you start doing your career, doing what you want to do, your body starts to vibrate. Somebody's going to accuse you of. So there's all these backstories. They want you to do L1S. And they also want you to, it's interesting. They're using the word joy, like giving up your joy. So they want you to do L1S on your career of what you want to do. And that when you start to feel accused any of this, you give up on your joy. So definitely left wrist, first position, soft. Then they want you, okay, then you're going to do R2D. R2D, so those tribal healers, if you're out there, those that have under R2D, you're going to put, no, I can't do it again. So Autumn, you're going to hold R2D. And you're going to go, no, I just can't do it again. Okay, so only after you started looking at how there was this joy issue. Okay, so Heather, Miss Heather on TT. I see something very complex. Gotcha. I'm looking at how accused, and you feel like it's coming from a spiritual aspect that people, that energy of being accused, and that over time hopelessness, and you feel very deficient, and you feel very shy and awkward. And I said, well, if we look at this, then we're going to start noticing there's a little bit of guilt tripping. So it's like you'll begin to feel, and then the talk afterwards has a lot to do with feeling guilt tripping. And you go right into the worthless, because your body says, well, we have an outcome that says, oh, here we go, overtime hopelessness. So why bother? So you got to begin to see this cycle. And when you do, notice that I want you to grab L3D. L3D. Okay, L3D. And I'm going to say, Autumn, no, I want you to do L1S. L1S, that's left wrist, first position soft, because you're giving up on the joy of your dream when those voice of the cues comes forward. Then after that, you go to R2D. No, I can't do it again, because those in the past of how you were treated and accused, if I start being me, they're going to treat me this way. And your body says it just doesn't want to do it again. Okay, so we want to make sure you do L1S first. Then you can go to R2D. All right, looking in all the rooms. I'm going to go over to Amanda Gibbs. And Amanda. Okay, so first picture is when you start doing your jewelry on video and you feel petrified. And so the uncomfortability when you're looking, oh my God, there's only like 2 people in the room. Oh, what am I supposed to say? Okay, I've already said that. Oh my God, people don't really want it. It is that energy in the background of the noise, not people here, but the tone of your cell says, I need to magnetically put that in. So I want you to make sure that you understand, when these feelings come up, I can't be confident. They want you to go L1D for Amanda Gibbs. Okay, L1D. And then they said that you go into the next part where you diminish yourself, because get that first part done. And then when you start to, how do I solve this? Oh, I can't get confident. No, I got to diminish. So notice the diminishing, and then you're going to do L3S. Go heal. Oh, she said, oh my God. Was I right? Go heal. We want you to get out there and show your jewelry. Do what you got to do. Make a living. Not make a living. How about loving and thriving your living? Okay, you got beautiful jewelry. Get it out there. But remember, our cells will magnetically push and pull people to and fro. Okay, awesome. Thank you. You're welcome. And anybody else over here? I'm going to check here. If not, I'm going to go to Teresa P. Miss Teresa P. Now, as I'm looking at Teresa, there is a little bit of self-emotions. What do you mean? Now you're just feeling like emptiness. Oh, I don't even have that word down. Nothingness. Well, I don't want to feel nothingness, so I have to hear these stories. I have to feel this pain. What if all my identity is all this pain? And what if there's nothingness? I don't want to feel the nothingness, because I feel the nothingness, then I can't connect. And all right, let's stop believing in the nothingness. And that is where you're getting hooked up into being fanatical with that. So you're going to go L1D. Okay, so you're going to just take your left wrist, first position deep, and really hear how you feel the story. So as you begin to heal the other part, now you're like, but I can't. Just breathe. Do a 241. Give your sense 2 minutes just to drop into your 41 thoughts and just ask about the nothingness. Okay, or you can place your hand over your heart. Okay, I need to address that feeling. Am I afraid of the nothingness? What about the nothingness? And what happens is when you get there and you start to notice, start doing L1D. If the negative comes up, remember to measure and take care of it in that fashion. Lillian, how are you? About 2 job offers. I need to make a decision this week. Okay. All right. I want you to take job 1, give that the letter A. Job 2, letter B. So in job 1, we're going to say, okay, so hold on. I got to make sure we're connected, because we need to look at the same vibe. Lillian, let me know when you have heard me and you have got job A and B for me. The reason we have to do letters is sometimes I'm looking at numbers. I don't want to confuse it. So Lillian, if you're here, begin to, wow. As I was waiting for Lillian, and all of a sudden I felt that she was out on the steps talking somewhere. Don't know where she's at, but Okay, so I will wait. Lillian, as soon as you hear me, come into the room, and there she is, babe. All right, babe. Lillian, so job A and job B. So as you hold job A, let's see. I need to make a decision. So job A. All right. So what I want you to do is take your hand, place your hand over your heart for me right now. I don't care, either hand, both. I don't care. I want you to take job A and put job A and just kind of drop and bring your eyeballs down into your chest. So you're feeling with your chest. You're breathing with your chest. You're out of your head. And I'm going job A, job A, job A, job A. And I want you to just tell me if it feels light or heavy. Job A, job A. And then ask your heart. I'm going to take this job and feel if it's heavy or light. Because with job A, it's a very high number, but it feels light. Good. And I feel like you want to let that play out. And I said, well, do you bring joy? Is it going to give you love? What's going to happen? Are you going to be happy in it? And it's a very high number that, yes, it's a possible. Yes, it's very much. And I said, what about the people and the environment? Is that going to be cooperative with her? And they said, yes, yes. So I get like a 90%. So now let's take job B. That's clear, delete. Now just pick job B. Take that job B. You're going to put your hand over your heart. And then once you got job B, then I want you to drop your mind down, and I want you to imagine that you're feeling with your heart. You got job B, job B, job B, and then say, I'm taking this job B. Is it heavy or light? Now, I feel like in this case, I'm going to wait for her to answer. I'll wait for her to answer. I feel like in this case, this job is familiar. This job is something you know. So because it's familiar and you know, then I feel like in a way you're like, oh, because that's so familiar, that would probably make me more happy. Which one's more familiar to you, job A or job B? And I will get right with you, Olga. Okay. Lillian, job A or job B? Okay. A feels more familiar. Now, see, she's so excited. She's still in her head, even though I want her to go in her heart. But she's got this indecisive. So what we're going to have you do is I want you to take your right wrist, and I want you to take and use your hand across your, so you're going to palm the back of the hand, palm, back of the hand, palm, back of the hand. Then I want you to rub. Okay. Notice that you can't really make a decision. That's the scale from 0 to 10. And then you're going to come over to your right foot, and you're going to follow your big toe and go behind your ankle bone. And we just need to rub it. So with the right leg, you're going to just reach on the inside of your leg and behind the ankle bone and rub it. Now come up to your right hand on the side, just above the crick, okay, at the karate chop point, and then I want you to rub it. Your brain is not allowing you to really, because you're like, what if I make the wrong decision? What if I make the wrong decision? What if I make the wrong decision? Okay. So that takes it so you don't make a decision. If I said to you, there we go. If I said to you, you're going to take job A. You're going to throw away job B. Tell me what your response would be. Because deep down, there's a part of you that knows which one you really want. But we have to get you out of your head to hear that. Okay, happy to be part of that company on a job. Okay, so if I said to you, no, you can't have that, would you yearn for it, long for it? And would you just settle for job B? Okay, see, now and seeing job B again, I feel like that seems more your familiar. The other one is more of your desire, and it feels right, but you don't want to pick the wrong thing. So you're going to take what, like, if Spirit told me, okay, I want you to go out to get a job, you can go work at Walmart as a cashier of what I know, or I can go over and I can work as someplace else that I like, but I haven't really done before, or oh, fine, I'll settle for what I know because I don't have confidence myself. There you go. It's a new company with advanced technology. Is that A or B? It's okay. B, it's a little more challenging because I do something different. I'll be doing something different. Oh, I got it. Isn't that weird though? Why would they tell me that? Why would you tell me those in reverse? Ah, because you have an OMG that you had experienced before. Interesting. As I'm looking at, what do you mean? And they said, well, the communication process is what's familiar. It's not the job itself. So when you had this interview or whenever, did you have this communication process? Because they said that is what's really about familiarity. So it's not really about the job itself. I said, okay, so job B, if we were more in line with her programs and the way her cells were, I only get like 50. And at the same time, I see there's an attraction towards others, and that can make your frequency, you can feel irrelevant again. So which one's the better job for you? I mean, which one's the better job? Money wise, let's talk about that, because I feel you don't want to really repeat patterns of feeling irrelevancy, because they said that you keep having problems with keeping the job, or some reason something comes along, and so there's not one steady job. And I said, well, why is that happening? And it has a lot to do with being yourself, being a defensive, being deprived. No, I don't want to do this again. And at the same time, you feel that they force. And I said, and then what? Well, I don't want to be irrelevant again. Both of the same salary. Okay. So if they have the same salary, understand that they can have as much time as they want of you. So which one you think would take more advantage of? I wouldn't really take salary, because then, just because people take advantage of those. But again, that's you. See, you want this opportunity. So I don't think you really want to be relevant again, but when you go and that's what you know. So that'll be familiar. But if you go into a different job and you really are about the money and you really want about happiness and joy in the job, I also feel like you're going to go, oh, this doesn't feel right. And you won't have that confidence. At least in the other one, you have confidence because you know you can do the damn job and you can used to this fight and you're used to this and this and that irrelevancy. But then there's issues that come up. So it's up to you if you want a fresh start. And if something's going to stop you from enjoying that fresh start, then I want you to hold L3S because you don't want to be let down. I don't want to be let down. So do you understand? With new job, you have that uncertainty. That scares you more than that other. I don't want to be let down is what I would tell you is hold L3S. Start doing that to clear it up, and then you'll eventually know exactly which one you're going to take. Okay. All righty. I'm just going to double check in everything in the rooms here. If you would like a reading, then go ahead and let me know. Let me know. I feel like this is going to be a short day for some reason. If you want more information, you're welcome, Lillian, because I can feel how one's better than the other for you, but at the same time, I also know you want to go back to the thing you know, and it's not the what you do, it's the how you're being treated. But at the same time, I know you want to move from that story and that timeline, and so you don't want to be let down, and then you probably be more clear on your answer. All right, so there is no more paid readings. I gotta see what my scene. Okay, you may get a general. Hi, you may definitely get a general. Okay, so let me set this up. I'm not sure why, but I feel like my head is not in a cloud, but it's just above the fog. But at the same time, I'm looking at the word timid. Now, when you look at that, there's a little bit of dread. So I keep hearing this humming in the background. What is this? Weird, because I feel like this is all here. There's an overwhelm, all of this. And I feel like you have, like, for instance, the large intestine and the lung. The cells are saying, yep, this is what we're doing. We have some sadness. We feel like we got to keep things, the same. And they're stressed. I feel like those two are stressed, and they're stressed. So they keep producing the same amount of hum. They're stressed. And I feel like they're stressed because they're holding a picture of how others have this erratic behavior, especially when you're growing up. And so you're not sure how to feel secure. So I feel like this is a really old thing. Do you want to heal this? They said, yes. And then, but the body says that it was humming this way because it was procrastinating, because it didn't know how to be on solid ground when you were in this position growing up. So this is definitely the youth. Well, give me the point. They want you to do R1S because you're like, I don't want to do things on my own. And so you want to keep things home. So it's like being little, it's like keeping around the homestead. You didn't want, like, let's say if there was a separation of parents, I want to keep them home. Or maybe the parents were fighting or something like that. They want to keep each other around. Something about keeping around the homestead. But the body is doing this vibration. And it literally is that I don't want them to leave. I don't want this. And so there's a sadness. Okay. Desiree. So you're asking if somebody's going to be okay. Well, I'm going to ask Spirit. Just give me a second. You're welcome. Spirit, I know that I am not to do this, but ask me, or give me the feel here. Okay, so they're saying that you have a choice of lining up to your timeline. Yes, you're going to sit there and you're going to worry and fear, but it's the fear that's eating away at you that's going to cloud you from seeing what you need to see or feel what you want to feel. So They're telling me that there's a part of you that is so crushed. So crushed. So L1D, I want you to understand that I do about healing. So L1D, left wrist, first position, push in deep and go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm so crushed right now. What if he doesn't, he's not going to be okay. What? I want you to see this, feel this, heal it out of your system so that your cells can go out and create a better outcome so that you guys can line up in a better way. And yes, you heard me right. I'm not blaming you. I am not doing any of that. Your cells have choices of seeing through a certain lens, a certain view, a certain thing. And you have this part of you that will be, you're welcome. That will affect you. So if you can get your mind clear and change the emotional chemical peptides in your body, then you can help hold the space for them to be okay. Okay, positive energy will help create others to step into that space. That's what I would say. All right, and we'll look back into the rooms and we're doing good. Everything's good. Good. Ha! You silly me. So, LaRonda, that was you there. Okay, then that would make more sense. Oh, yeah, it would. Is he going to wake up? Now, see, this is the part of the fear. Again, if you're going to be in that space, you need to hold the energy to help. You, as far as how the soul wants to flow, his soul wants to flow, I feel a very strong way is that yes, there is, but there's aggressive energy. So whatever happened to this person, why do they give that answer? And that is this, because in this energy field, how do you want to put it? There isn't an emotion. I guess I see 3 freaking timelines for you with him. It's so hard to explain. Well, just for a moment, I will be like every other reader. That just will give you something that's the closest to what it is. If Spirit would just have that. Sure. That's not going to be it. Well, that's not going to do it. You hid my deck on me. One of the timelines that you really have is that will he wake up? It is a very strong one. But you have to let it play out because the energy of how a subconscious mind has to protect this person for whatever he's going through until it's time to process. So a person, subconscious mind will do its best to protect it. And then so it'll hold back certain things until the environment changes. Usually it'll be the physical environment that changes. Without asking the question, did he get in a car accident? Did he get an overdose? What did he do? Now, when you start asking those questions, it becomes a different story. But for you, I'm looking at 3 different things. He got shot. Okay. I'm telling you again, the more that you heal your stuff, the more that energy you bring into that space, into that room with him will be more supportive so that he can vibrate. Okay, so that he can wake up. His soul's definitely, what I'm hearing is that Spirit, I said, what can we allow? And it definitely on a soul's journey at this point. And he's making some deep choices. That is what Spirit is telling me. Hi, Tammy. How are you? And hello, Giselle. Hello. Exactly. The more you heal your fear, the more that you will open those doors so that you can get to those people to talk and to be in that space. It is healing out. You got to understand, if your vibe alone needs to be balanced if you really want to help somebody. Okay, not just for you, but for them as well. Giselle, Tammy, if you're looking for a read, let me know real quick, and then I will give you a read. Alrighty. So I'm going to refresh this space here. Very good. And then I will go down here. That looks good. Yes, heal your fear. Because again, you didn't hear me, but you got 3 particular choices that you could go down, but you're going down with fear. But if you heal the fear, then you're going to be able to go down and have a healthier choice, healthier alignment, letting spirit work with you. You'll be able to hear and know things instead of feeling lost at what you're doing now. So when I gave you that point, I wasn't kidding. And I can't remember what point I gave you now, or if I didn't give you a point, I can give you a point. Alrighty. Now, if you're on TikTok and you happen to want your reading, you can do it in 2 places. Go to YouTube and watch it there, or you can watch it, get a timestamp, and which means you go to Facebook and become a fan, and you can look at the media and all the videos I've done, and you can go at the bottom and watch the video, and you'll usually see your timestamps. Like Giselle's gonna have her timestamp, and it will be there. Thank you so much for the paper crane. That's beautiful. All righty, your name will go into a drawing, my dear. So here we go. I'm looking at the word instability. I feel like I'm looking through your eyes and you're seeing the environment in some people that they're very unstable. And then you also like, well, how can they be so, they're giving off this confidence about what they do. Now I'm watching you observe, and then it's like, where did my happy go? It's like, well, how can they do this? Where's mine? I'm looking at your contemplation, and you said, I have what? And what you not seeing, what they want. Yes, it gets me mad. Okay, good. What you're not seeing is that there's an energy pull game instead of a flow game. So your younger self will go, oh, I have to pull this shit stuff in order to get what I want, right? Blah, 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 blah. But that's not true. Oh my God, I was just thinking about that today. Good. Well, I'm going to play a little longer with you. So when you're doing this and you're in that contemplation stage, they're telling me you're seeing, instead of looking at it as a catalog of life, going, that's an opportunity. I can become that, not to become them. I don't want you to say word for word. I don't want you to look like them. I don't want you to do any, single white female. Yeah, in the movie. No. That the catalog of life is that there are opportunities, and you wouldn't know they're there except for the fact you're seeing people do it, like me doing this, other people. So looking at it, you're going to go, that's an opportunity. It's a whispering opportunity that I could possibly do this. Yes, exactly. Good job, Giselle, because she's looking through her eyes. There is a little bit of envious, but you're wanting to look at how to do it differently. And I asked, do you want to heal that particularly? And they go, no, you were conditioned because other people would look with anxiety. They would want it. And the problem is then they would sour grape or bitch about them. Oh, they're just losers anyway, just so they could get over it. But their anxiety refuses to let them grow. So I said, do you have anxiety? And they said, oh, yes, sorry. But and then it shows up as contempt. I said, this anxiety, is this really yours? No, it's my family's. I know what the feeling nature is to sit back and watch somebody get it. And that vibration tells me I'm supposed to act and say and be this. But really, I learned that from my family. That's what they want you to heal. So in this case, you want your will to be your own. And when you look at those, you can begin to heal the contempt and the sour graping, the stuff that you've learned to view, to say, I have to look at these people this way. You heal that out. No, it's not. What do you mean? Explain. Did I get it wrong? Let me put it in words you understand. Because you got to, oh, no, maybe it's not mine. Okay. Again, or no, it's not them. So I need to understand. All I know is that I can see you're doing a pattern that you're not even aware of. It's not my anxiety. Exactly. But the body understands the vibration. And so your organs. So I said, where is this vibration that you picked up from others that's in your body that makes you look and view life that way? And they said, it sits in your gallbladder. It sits in your gallbladder. And therefore, when that energy sits in your gallbladder, then it is that you're supposed to reject things out of reality. That's exactly what that energy wants you to do. So I'm going to say, well, in order to help break that pattern of how your cells react, because you picked it up when you were little, they said they want you to begin to do L2S, just holding L2S, left wrist, second position, find the two positions, second position, nice and soft, and begin to feel. You can sit in the story of how you know, but I feel like in a way, because you're really good at this contemplating thing, is that I want you to sit back through your eyes and look at how the family does it. Do they bitch? Do they sour grape? Do they, why am I playing these games? Why am I playing? Because they're energy pools. Oh, I can see the anxiety in these people. This is why they said that. Well, I don't have to be them. And that's exactly like when you do. When you just sit back, and I want you to begin to notice that you need to use discernment. And that's what you're doing. You're sitting back using this discernment in such a unique way. But you're looking at, and that's how you're going to heal it. Okay. Does that make any sense? Some of these readings just really surprise me. It's kind of exciting. Robin, Miss Robin. What I'm seeing is don't let. Don't let what? Don't let your nerves be of hate. Okay, so her program 34. I don't know how old you are. You look like a young pup to me, but it's something about 34. Everybody else has always got this expanded importance of self. And the nerves, it gets on your nerves, and it creates you to have mental anguish, and you begin to lose a great amount of power. So R1D, right wrist, first position deep. Okay, Robin, hopefully that makes sense. Yes, Marcy, you certainly can. Now, have I read you before, Marcy? I can't remember. I think I have. Oh. Giselle says, I saw it all the day earlier. I had an aha moment. Now that you said it, it's a confirmation. Excellent. Now you can really begin to heal it out. This is levels of waking up when we see it. Okay. All right, Marcy. Have I read you before? I think I have. Yes, I think I have. Well, if not, I'll look up. So here you get one. Yes, once. Okay. So Marcy. Out. Up. Small. Out, up, small. Preservation. So you're seeing how people are helping the planet, or helping, and yet maybe you are helping, In order to get your strength to do more, I don't know, are you helping an environment? Because in order for you to do strength to do more, or they could just be using this as an example when you go to do these things, but there's a party that's looking for a little bit of praise. Now, there's nothing wrong with healthy amount of balanced feedback. That's it. There's nothing wrong with balanced feedback. But I feel like with some people you're helping, instead of just being quietly in the background, I feel like there isn't a healthy amount of energy exchange. Does this make any sense, Marcy? So give me a minute I'll give you a minute to help you understand this one, because this one comes from, are you helping? Are you volunteering? Are you, because you can do things without ever having to be noticed. It's just for your pleasure. But when somebody starts expecting you and you're not able to do it maybe one time or whatever, then their belief, yes, I think so. Then they get onto their cocky little horses and they believe that, well, they can take offense. But I feel in a way, I do a lot of voluntary. Yes. Yeah. But in a way, there are some people that just, oh, Marcy will do it. Instead of really putting you into the picture of, Marcy, can you do it? You're not hungry for praise. That's not what I'm saying. I do go through a phase of feeling unappreciated. Yes, there you go. But at the same time, there has to be some form of energy exchange. And I feel in a way, and it just feels like this one person, and not, I don't know if you, like, let's say you worked at a company that does volunteer work, and it's not the company, because the company can't really give you that certain thing, but the person in charge really is, I don't know if they're a good quality of leader or not. But some people, like if you were the right hand man, or I don't want to say that word, but right hand, and this person just, starts dictating because now they're the queen, then there's a big problem. So I said, Spirit, what do you want her to know or to do about it? And they said, well, if she wanted to heal something else, let me ask you a question. Have they had this person, did they call you stubborn because you won't do what they ask? Have you ever heard the word stubborn coming out of their mouth, or want to insinuate that to you? Because I asked about stubborn. Is it because you won't get out of your own way for your own good, or is it the stubborn where somebody gets pissed off because you won't obey them? Because, of course, and selfish. All right. You want your cells to vibrate differently than them. And so part of your lesson that you have with this person, versus, because you've seen it growing up, but how do you heal it? You're grown up. Well, in this case, your body and you are using this person to demonstrate this type of attitude. So when they do this, you don't have to keep repeating. You can go in and you can hold the right wrist and hold that first position, nice and soft. So you put your thumb there, nice and soft, Marcy. Wrap your 3 around and go. And I want you to really think about what we just talked about this person, because it's really affecting your body, and it's like it's vibrating out. You have to keep seeing it, and just kind of sit there, think about how selfish, think about how and because you don't need to be treated in the manner that I'm seeing you being treated, if that makes sense. All right, I'm gonna look over here. Giselle, let's see. Oh, they're just having a conversation. And it does get annoying when other people. So think about this, Ames. So what are you vibrating out? Of course we can say, oh, does this mean you're famous? But why is it you feel that when you vibrate out, that has to happen? And Ames, I feel like, okay, you've endured this. Did you act this? No, you endured it. Something about thinking of no empathy. Your response. So we have to heal out how there's how you're taking in a personal in the first place. And do you feel like they're taking something from you? They're impersonating you. And so the question then, have you ever impersonated anyone and then took something from them? This is about personalities and things like this. You're supposed to do R3S because the more you become secure, the more you have to look at the old way of how insecure you felt and then what you did to become secure. So you really are changing these old personalities from the past. All right. Marcia said, yes, thank you. I have left the situation, but I think that aspect will still needs healing. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You are so welcome. You absolutely want to heal it. You want to create closure to things that have already been in the past, because if you don't heal them, you'll waste them and then you have to repeat them. So it'll end up becoming worse than the first. And if you don't really want that, you want to be able to say, I'm done with this particular storyline, this particular field. I'm ready to move on from this. And once you start to heal out the vibrational match of the negativity of the storyline, then your cells can be returned back to love. Okay. All right. You guys have been awesome. You have been great. And today I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go out and finally get out and get some groceries. Oh, Laura says, why is it when something goes wrong, I'm to blame for everything, and I see them, but they're not my kids. The things that come out of their mouth while my husband is acting like he's the victim. Very good. Very good. And the reason why I'm not laughing at you, I understand this one. So notice that the energy, everything is out of sync. Notice how it is when something goes wrong, I'm to blame. And you can hear your story, so that's good. So like when you notice where it's for the blame for everything. All right. So the first thing you'd want to do would be, I would tell you to do R3D, right wrist, third position, deep. Oh my God, I'm going to blame for everything. Put that on a scale from 0 to 10. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You sit there. Oh, I gave other people healing tools. I forgot to tell them to put it on their head. That's okay. Spirit will fix it. But you're going to hold R3D and you're going to measure it. Okay. Because that feeling, your cells are vibrating at that rate. And you have to understand that you will see, like they act like a victim. And I want you to understand that you're going to move over to L1D. I can't be confident, because as soon as they go into that behavior, and this is all about maneuvers, energy pulls, and games. Oh my God, I can't be confident when I see him that way. So therefore, I lose my power. To really answer that question, so why is it that happens? The soul says, well, you haven't have to. I have to. I can feel this automatic. Well, we just explained is because you can't be confident when they act in this behavior. And you are so used to taking the blame because, again, you have to. And so if you wanted to heal out this have to, they said then they want you to do L2D because you're so tired of seeing love as a weapon. That's what happened when you were a kid. You saw how love was used as a way to get what they wanted, but not in a very loving manner. Does it make any sense? All right. You can do that. So happy healing on that. Don't just take this and say, oh, that's good information. Change your brain. Change the way the cells are vibrating. Begin to take charge of, do I really have to have this pattern play out this way? Do I have to have this feelings? You're going to have feelings, but they don't have to be in charge of you. You understand? You understand? Last call if you want a 1 minute Let me know. Let me know. I'm just going to double check again to make sure I didn't miss anything. Very good. I didn't there. And then there. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. You're welcome. Thank you. But healing it out, because these are patterns. You're going to keep repeating these patterns until you create a disrupt in yourself. Hi, Mary. How are you? Do you want a 1-minute read, babe? All right. That looks good there. And it looks good there. Okay. Just double checking. Yeah. I would order food offline, but I need fruit and I want to pick the fruit. Okay. Mary says yes. Reward. Addicted to behaviors. There's somebody in your space that likes to reward you. Interesting. But they also know that I feel like they're using it to get something, because I feel then so do people no. Mary, what I want to know is, do you long for something and you feel small sometimes? And when somebody gives you something or rewards you, whatever, do you feel good about yourself? They're saying that you're learning to look at certain behaviors with certain people, and you have one person that sits there and it's like they know they've conditioned you to respond and react a certain way. And then what I'm looking at is how the body wants to panic when the reward is not there. I want it. I don't see it as unconditional love the way that I'm seeing this. So I'm not sure, because you can have rewards and loves and things like this, but I feel there's something else going on, because the part of your body is saying, I don't like it. There's something that it's vibing, and it knows that it's not really vibing with this person. And I'm picking one person, and I don't know if is it the same person you're thinking of. Would this be? I feel like there could be somebody that you play it out with, some casual conversations, somebody occasionally. I feel it could be more of a friend. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. But if this person, I said, did they train you that way? Or did you train that? You're conditioned. So there's a condition inside of you that your cells feel, I feel deficient and I worry. And I feel like this is just a really old condition of how when you were about 2 years old, in order for you to feel like you are that love exchanged, is that they would use like reward and punishment. And so there could be keywords. My husband, he bribes me. Oh, there we go. Yes. Okay. Well, and I asked, do you want to start healing that condition out? And they said most dubiously, yes. Sometimes your fear of being controlled in a very harsh manner. And it's a form of communication. It's a form of, because I feel like this is sometimes you feel like you have the only upper hand in this situation, in that one, because of the other stuff. And so what I want you to do is do L2S to help you to remove that conditioning. So left wrist, second position, soft, place your hand up here and sit and measure it out of how you know it, because you don't want to be controlled. There's a great fear of being controlled. Yes. Yes. Start off with that, okay? Start off with that. All right, love bugs. It's time for me to go. You guys are great. You guys are wonderful. Remember, hashtag resolve to evolve. We need to create an inner evolution so we can be an amazing beings. Lori says, I see their attachment. It's dark. I always send them love and light, but I am doing me. Yes, I want to be open a business to help give messages from their loved ones and one through our, okay. They can't stand it. Absolutely, they will. Yes. Okay, so understand, the more you start to build the confidence up, the more you will stop creating them to do this. But when you're first starting out, we have a tendency to do this. I have a little bit of doubt. I have a little bit of fear. I have a feel like I'm going to have to climb my way to get what I want. And this is really old fear, because it's related to how spirit was ripped out of matter and thrown off the planet, meaning there was churches and things like this and religions and other places and people that had condemned this way of living, even though it was already here on the planet. And in order to make sure there's only one person that's in charge of the spirit, and it isn't science at the time, then it throws it out. It literally throws, where am I going with that? We're putting spirit back into matter. We're learning that this is the era of time where the old stuff, the old paradigms don't match anymore. And because they don't match anymore, then it just will stop. Okay? It will change out. A new pattern, a new paradigm, and a new civilization will emerge. And it's safer now than it ever has been before, as long as you heal your shit from your past to become more you. Okay. Usually I have like one question per person, but will you ever have true love? The answer is that yes. It's just that you have to understand why you're there. And once you start to heal what pops up, the negative, the things, the blocks, all of those, once you start to heal those that block up, then what you will eventually all of a sudden start to zig and they zag. And when you allow yourself to really, I said, to really find that true love for her, she's got to say, I am not doing that. You have to watch how you put the knots in effect. I am not behaving that way. I am not doing that. I am not doing this. I am not. Energy that's passion with a knot tells the universe, place that in order. She wants more of that. Heal. Oh, that. You're not going to become it. Because what's important to you is to become what? Well, if you have all your energy put into the knots, you have no energy for your goals of love. And the goals of love is, can your brain remember what it feels like? Can it create a picture? Can it allow the giggles to align up with great gratitude and love to bring in that person? I did go to La La Land for a second. It just was like, and then spirit lined it back up again. I see a lot of that. Some do. Okay. I see a lot that some don't say, yes, I'm becoming me, the real me. The more you just start to be confident in yourself and you just be in the real you, finding what you don't like and do like and not settle for, universe is going to just start zigzagging people all over the place. And when you do that, you are going to be incredibly stronger, because the universe has already set up this beautiful golden place. And the reason I say it like that is because when I started to really heal my shit and put down my goal and say I'm aiming for joy, that was my goal, because my cells needed it. I was dying in the other place. Yes, you're going to go do and heal. Because your brain says try, then you're just going to forget it. Ego's going to go, ha, made you forget. But yes, there's that determination, my goal to do joy, to be joy. And as I started to zig and zag, they started to zig and zag. The golden place. It looks like. I mean, how do I put this? Imagine these wires crisscrossing. So it's like the flower light flat, and it came to life. So it came into 3D, and inside of it, so you are, and in the outside of it is all of this flowers of life. When you start to remove all of the bad investments of your energy and pull that back, close all of those doors that folders and shit, that stuff that you thought you couldn't take all, and raise up those little children inside of you so that your littles are no longer in charge, and you are changing your persona, your personalities. You're going to create, with new personality, a healthier personal reality, which then lines you up, because the universe is it's already here, because in the quantum field everything's lined up. How do you change the timeline? And when you get to more joy, more peace, more harmony, and you're not going to settle for anything less, you'll change your environment, not just on the outside. And the only reason that the outside would change is because you're changing the environment in the inside, because your inner world creates your outer world. And literally, bam, you start to change your timeline to what's healthy for you. And when you line up and you start to get into that golden bubble, geez, it's so much better than you ever imagined. You're like, whoa, whoa. Your cells are going to go, no stress. Literally will start to feel better. And then you just refuse to live in that old pattern anymore, because you know that you can change it. You guys are awesome. You're great. Remember to resolve to evolve, heal instead of deal, and you're going to have to feel it to heal it. You really will. Nikki says, getting the limiting beliefs and self-imposed limitations out. Exactly, because it's exactly what they are, limited. And that means restrictions and boundaries that are unhealthy for you. And you're like, why do I even have them? Your questioning is just going to be amazingly different. If you want to move forward, join Tribal. Once a week. We're getting some deeper stuff. Now, I know that I'll probably have to back up the boat, because some people are like, what did this girl just say? But we want to just kind of fire and wire, rehearse what we say, do heal. And so we're doing group healings, and it's like great big coming into class. I mean, deep study classes, but it is about the energy field to which we hold to help you to evolve. So if you want an inner evolution and you want to evolve your world, then I would say Tribal would be where you want to go, and every week be dedicated to you. Tribal has been intense healing. I love it. I know. They just said it's time, and then we all hold that space for all those other people that are new. And even though they may feel lost, they come in and they want seeds planted so that they can flourish at the time they need. But everybody is going to keep growing, and it's beautiful. So here it is on a Thursday, June 23rd, and it's 1:25 p.m. my time, and it's 75 in my space. 60 out in my kitchen. Wow, it must be warm out today for my house to be warmer. So many Tribal members are growing massively. Yes, and especially those that are in Tribal healers. You guys are leap and bounding it, because you've had a little bit of insight deeper with the tools. So it's good. Very powerful and empowering. Yes, it's all about empowerment. You're doing the healing. I'm doing the delivering. You choose the interpretations. You choose what you want to do. And I highly recommend it, not just because I'm hosting it, but because I certainly don't want to live in that crappy past. You don't have to either. So resolve to evolve. Now, when in doubt, you grab that healing tool, start applying, especially to the frontal lobe, and you heal that shit out. You got that? And I know there was one more, but no matter what you do, when you do heal, feel it to heal it. Measure it. Witness. Oh, I was a shit show. Oh, I'm not a shit show. And that turnaround time is amazing. Yeah, I love how we're healing in sync. Awesome. Yes, I love it too. All right, guys, I'm going to start signing off one at a time. If I can get where's the button? Anyways, I hold this space for you. I see you whole. I see you blessed. So stay blessed and happy healing. Okay? Till next time. You guys are wonderful. You can do this. I know you can, and I'm proud of you. I really am. I really am. So we'll talk to you